If you guys are like me and you have a crazy, hectic, busy schedule, it is so easy to fall into a dinner time rut and get out of your routine. With HelloFresh, you can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week. So there's always something delicious to discover. With so many in-season ingredients, you'll taste all the freshness of fall in every bite of HelloFresh chef-crafted recipes. Produce travels from the farm to your door for peak ripeness you can taste. HelloFresh does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep pre-portioned, which is huge because a lot of people don't know how to portion their meals and they're ready to cook, alongside a picture with a step-by-step recipe card. I love using HelloFresh. Like I said, I'm working all day long. It makes it very difficult at the end of the day when I'm tired, I'm run down. All I want to do is eat. With HelloFresh, everything is super simple and it's ready to go at my fingertips. And most important part, it tastes delicious. So go to HelloFresh.com/50booth. That's 2 O's in there, and use code 50booth for 50% off plus free shipping. Again, that's go to HelloFresh.com/50booth and use code 50booth for 50% off plus free shipping. You guys are gonna love it. It is America's #1 meal kit. Welcome back to In the Booth. I'm Shawn Booth, and today we have a fall fashion exclusive special edition show, and you guys know how much I love fashion. So we're gonna kick it off with the most fashionable person I know sitting across from me on the love seat today. You guys, she is wearing leather pants with matching leather pumps.
You got it.
Is that what they call them?
Those are not it, but we will go with it.
All right, and then we've got a sweater
Wow.
with a gold chain. Hair is down, hair's flipped behind both ears over there. And
Wow.
she is raising the roof, throwing up some peace signs. You guys, we've got Leather Cat in the building today.
I'll take it.
Karl Lagerfeld could never.
Ooh.
I know.
Okay.
Shawn, how are you going to start a podcast saying that you love fashion and then not know who Carl is?
That's, I got to work on that.
Okay.
I'm going to know by the end of the episode.
Perfect.
And to my left today, in the hot seat, the fashion expert herself. She is wearing some fancy pajamas. I'll let her break down that outfit
I'll
for
call
you.
it fancy pajamas. It's
All right.
a little set, you know. If we're being highbrow, we'll call it a set. But I like to think of it more like fancy pajamas.
All right,
That's what I
fancy
like.
pajamas.
It's giving like Grandpa in Palm Springs, you know, with like the crazy florals, which I don't know. I like it.
I love it. And if you aren't watching on YouTube, you should tune into YouTube because we got quite the set today. And she is a personal stylist, a wardrobe stylist. Her name is Carson Love.
Thanks.
Welcome.
That's what it
Welcome.
feels like to be a professional athlete and have them like call you out.
Yeah,
like, do I need a
exactly.
walkout song or something?
We should have brought you through the tunnel there.
Yeah, really.
So how are we feeling today? We're doing good. We got fall on the way. Busy season for you?
Yeah, it's really busy. You know, luckily for me, last year I hired a business manager for the first time, and I'm sure you know, like having someone help you has been a game changer.
Right.
So it used to be that top of the season like this would be like bananas, and then there'd be a little dip, and then it kind of went like this. Now that I have someone that actually knows how to manage a schedule doing it for me,
Yeah.
it's a lot more even keeled. So I feel a little bit more ahead of things this year opposed to in years past. But no, it's good. It's good.
Good.
It's an exciting time of year. Yeah, happy to be here with the fashion police himself.
I was at my house and I was like, all right, I got to wear something that is like fall vibes
Uh-huh,
here. And I was
uh-huh.
like, I got to throw on a button down, which I
Okay.
feel like is very
Okay.
fall for guys, maybe a little plaid.
Sure. Revolutionary. Yeah.
Revolutionary. I threw on some pants here that I just got recently. Probably the most
Nice.
comfortable pants ever. It's from Viore.
Yes, I love Vior's pants. Yeah.
These are
really
basically
nice.
like sweatpants that
They're
look.
like the ABC pants that Lululemon does, like kind of that like hybrid, like, you know, could wear
Yeah.
them to like a ball game or dress them up or whatever. No, those are great.
Yeah. So I was standing in front of my closet and I was getting nervous. I didn't know what to wear. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring my button downs and then I'm going to have Carson pick out the shirt that I'm going to wear for the show today.
Oh, I love it.
So we're going to go through the shirts right now. I want to
Okay.
hear the brain,
thought
how it's working
process.
throughout this. And we'll describe each shirt as we go. You can describe this one for the people
We
that
have
are
a
listening.
nice plaid, some greens. I love you in a green. I love that this has a touch of camel in it to tie in your boots, so that could be great.
All right, going to
Could
tie
be a
in the
great
boots.
option. Yes, yes. This is really kind of like a shacket almost. Like you could just like leave it opened over your tee. Nice, just solid. What would we call it? Like a mauve or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah,
You're
sure.
like, yeah.
Are you a Shacket girl, Sam Cat?
I do love a shacket.
Oh, this next one, I love this brand. Shout out to the Normal brand. It's started by a guy from St. Louis, I'm pretty sure, but they've exploded. They have great stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, super comfy. Maybe a little relaxed for this. Come on, we can do better.
Fun
Let's move
fact,
along.
the first 3 shirts were Normal brand.
They're all Normal brand?
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Love them.
This one right here is from a guy by the name of Eric Decker. Decked.
Oh,
From the
cool.
Kittenish line.
Decked. Cute. I love that. Okay.
I actually
holiday.
really like this shirt. It's very fall.
Yes.
I think
and we
that's
could
a little
style that like
Christmas.
with the red and the
Mhm.
plaid. Mm-hmm.
And
Have your
this
lumberjack
one,
moment.
this is an oldie but
Yeah.
a goodie from Banana Republic.
Okay, BR. You know,
BR.
they rebranded in the last couple of years, and I have to tell you, Banana Republic has gotten good.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they went down for a little bit. Are you saying they took a dip?
Well, you know, it was kind of for a while just like the business casual, like what you think of like if you were a millennial starting your career and needed like a cheap suit. But now they've gotten some trendier stuff. They've gotten kind of cool.
All
Okay,
right.
so do you want me just to pick which
Yep.
one's my fave?
Which one's your favorite for
This
this
is what
outfit?
I think I want you to do. I think I want to go with the green with plaid, the very first one. But I want you to like leave it open over your tee and kind of like roll up the sleeves and wear it like a shacket.
Okay,
Do
because
you know
I was.
what a shacket is?
I do a shirt and a jacket.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, because I was wondering. That was the question I had for you. Layers. Obviously, you got a layer in the fall.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it is the right move to layer a button down like
Mhm.
this, but if we're going with the shacket,
I think if your basic under it is a bit more fitted, I think it can be nice. I think where you get into trouble with layers is if they're all a little too blousy or boxy and there's like no shape. That's where it can kind of come off a little frumpy.
okay.
But doing things like rolling up the sleeves and you know, making sure it's been steamed and everything, those all kind of help.
I'm a big roll up the sleeve guy on
Good.
these.
Yeah.
All right,
Gotta
now I
have
feel
room
good.
to work.
Yeah,
Now you're ready.
I don't think I've ever worn this shirt.
Really?
Yeah, here it is. First time ever.
And Normal brand, which is super cool. Do you feel extra normal now?
I do. I feel very normal, and I feel like
That's all it
my
took.
style is normal, where I don't go too crazy.
Yeah.
Unless I'm in the gym, maybe. I don't know, Sam Cat. What do you think? I'm more of like, basic solid colors, no crazy designs.
Mm-hmm.
I like the clothes that feel good for the fit.
Yes. And I feel like that's one silver lining that kind of came out of pandemic COVID times is so many brands started doing what they would call either like, I don't know, you see them call it like a leisure line or a travel line or like an active line. Like we're seeing so many more of like the hybrid fabrics that are so nice, like these pants that you have on, like they have a little bit of that stretch, you know, they aren't super stiff. So I think that's becoming a lot more common is like these awesome fabrics that just feel good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So how did you get to where you are right now in your career? I feel like being a stylist is a dream job for a lot of people.
Oh, well, I don't, growing up or whenever I was starting, I don't think I knew what a stylist was. I'm from kind of like a small town, so definitely no stylist to be seen. But I went to school, I went to college for, well, kind of like the business side of fashion, I suppose, with an international emphasis, but with like a lot of college degrees, not really doing much with it now.
Yeah.
And
None of us are.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for that great 4 years. But I really wasn't until I started getting some internships and really after college that I even was introduced to what a stylist was. So I started taking on some internships and, really no awesome story. I just got an internship with a stylist that owned her own business a couple of years out of college. And even that isn't an awesome story. Honestly, she was dating one of my cousins. So anywho, I just started interning for her and then kind of like worked my way up to assistant and, had one of those phases where I was like working a couple different jobs. I was taking gigs with photographers that would have me just for free, just trying to see all different aspects that I could of the styling world and kind of learn where I fit. And so with what I do, there's kind of two different ends of the spectrum. There's like the shoots, like styled shoots, like how we first met,
Mm-hmm.
where like, I'll be the stylist on set for like a video shoot or a photo shoot or whatever, e-com stuff. And then the other end of that, which is really my bread and butter, is the personal styling side of things. And that's what I compare a lot to, like, well, you could probably relate to this, like working with a personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with clients one-on-one, kind of working with them over the long term versus just kind of like a one and done transactional kind of thing. Um, so yeah, not like a great, fun story, just kind of started at the bottom and worked and then
Yeah, that's awesome.
eventually started my own business. So yeah, I think I officially started my own LLC. I think it's like 8 years ago.
Where we met was a cover shoot for some magazine here in
Yes.
town.
Mhm.
And so a job like that, you work with whoever is putting on the shoots. They tell you who's
Right.
going to be there. And then you
Correct.
go out to these stores and then
Mhm.
you buy, or how does that work? You buy the clothes, or you,
It depends.
right? Because I
Yeah.
feel like, because after that shoot, any shoot I've ever been on, people are like, do you want to buy these? You can buy
Yeah,
them.
it depends. It depends on the project, but more times than not, yeah, I'm hired by either like the producer or in this case like the editor. And depending on like time frame, we might order in some pieces. This was a local publication where we were actually really excited to highlight some local retailers. So that was important for that project that I kind of pull locally.
Okay.
And in that instance, I'm trying to remember, I think most things were just out on loan,
Yeah.
just borrowed, which is awesome. I'm able to do that with some stores, honestly, just because of good relationships that I've formed. I don't think that's something that, um, you know, they don't just like let clothes go out on loan all the
Right.
time. But yeah, that was a fun shoot. That was like in the fall or winter, I feel like.
Yeah, because it was on the top of the Bobby Hotel where they had the igloos. So we
Uh-huh.
did like kind of a winter-ish
Yes.
vibe with Walter. And
Yes.
Walter, you
Walter
dressed
was
Walter in a
there.
scarf.
I mean, he was the real
He was a
he
real
was the real
star.
talent, let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really know, and sometimes, depending on the project and the timeline, I may know a whole lot and be really like involved in putting together, what we're doing. Sometimes it's literally just kind of like hired and like, here's the specs, here's what we're going for, bring a ton of options. So honestly, I didn't really know a lot about the shoot going into it. I just
Yeah.
knew sizes. I knew like, kind of the overall vibe. I knew the location.
Right.
I don't even know if I knew there was going to be a dog at the time. It was a surprise. So, yeah. So, I mean, you can imagine I walked in and unfortunately the model was just like incredibly unattractive and it was just like a really hard day.
And rude
Yeah,
and
and rude.
demanding.
Oh, that was a
And
tough one. That was a tough one, but we
yeah.
somehow made it work.
Besides that, that was probably the worst shoot you've ever been on. Were there any other horror stories that you have?
Everyone has their own little crazy somewhere in
Yeah.
there. I will say I have been incredibly lucky. Maybe I'm lucky or maybe I'm just incredibly naive. 99.9999% of the people I've ever gotten to work with, especially in Nashville, are amazing. Like really and truly. Like most of my clients, I genuinely like want to be their best friends. I want to
Mhm.
like hang out with them. Every now and again, you get a little someone crazy, but I think it's more the place where I'm meeting people too. I mean,
Right.
it's something I don't take lightly that I am kind of meeting people at one of the most vulnerable areas of our lives, especially if I'm meeting with like a personal client for the first time. I might be coming over to their house, coming into their closet where we all keep, metaphorical and literal baggage.
Yeah.
And it's just a super fun. I might have to see them naked within like the first hour of meeting them.
Like, nice to meet you. Yeah.
yeah. Nice to meet you. Here I am. So I don't take it lightly that we all just get like a little vulnerable and a little crazy sometimes, and that's perfectly okay. I think
Right.
that's honestly half of the job. I think I know a ton of people who could probably put together much more beautiful outfits than I could, and probably have a bigger Rolodex, and probably have a more creative thought process and all these things. But I think the biggest part of my job is being a people person and being
Right.
able to meet people where they are and make them feel okay with that.
Yeah, you have to be. And
Mhm.
so these personal clients that you have, and you say you like to work with them long term.
Mhm.
So something like now, it's the beginning of fall, you meet with them and you put together a certain amount of outfits, or you just go through their closet, get rid
Yeah.
of other stuff. How does that work?
So if I am meeting with someone for the very first time, if I've never met with them before, whether they're telling me I have 5 shirts to my name, or they're telling me I have 6 closets across the country, I always start in the same place. And that's by taking really good stock and really good inventory of what they already have, even if they hate everything they have. And that can be productive for several reasons. One, of course, if we need to get rid of things, if things just need to go, we need to take care of that first off. Um, but two, if we are getting rid of some things, it's me like kind of putting on my detective hat and being like, okay, why is that? Is
Mhm.
it because, certain things don't fit you the way that you wish that they would? Is it because this doesn't make sense for your lifestyle anymore? We all go through phases and evolutions. So it's important for me to first, no matter what the goals are, no matter what, the person is doing, to first start with what they already have and take inventory. And also, I would never want to suggest, even someone with the highest disposable income you can imagine, I would never suggest that someone go out and spend money on clothes without first seeing what they have.
Mhm.
I might be different than some stylists in that it's important to me to make a wardrobe feel as sustainable as possible. And that's not just, I don't just mean that in like the environmental kind of sustainability sense of the word, but sustainable for that person,
Right.
something that they can come back to week after week over the long term and feel good about.
Nice.
Hmm.
And Sam Cat works with a lot of artists in town, is out on the road, and she's currently with Old Dominion.
Mhm.
I love that.
And do you see what their stylist does with them, or are they always getting new clothes out for every show? And how does that process work? Are you involved with any of that?
Yes and no. I mean, I do have to say, as a collective whole, they're a pretty stylish group of guys.
Hmm.
I think that they take it seriously, the just the right amount of seriousness,
Hmm.
because there is 5 of them, so they do try and kind of play off one another to an extent
Coordinate, but
while
not matchy
keeping,
matchy.
yeah, like while
Hmm.
keeping their own identity.
Sure.
I've only ever worked one award show with them so far,
Hmm.
where I was really in the room and seeing the process of not only that, but of maybe their plus ones.
Yeah.
So keeping women's fashion in mind as
Yep.
well, making sure that everybody kind of looks cohesive for a red carpet moment.
Hmm.
But I don't, I mean, I basically hold the clothes. I'm their personal assistant. So, I'm willing and able to
Uh-huh.
get down and dirty, but I don't know that I have any sort of decision making power. But I
Mhm.
tell them if they look good or
Yeah. Yeah.
before a show. I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes I'll be like, does this look good together? And I'll be
Yeah.
like, or yeah, or they're like hat, no hat
Yeah.
type of thing. That's the extent of my personal wardrobe styling skill.
Touring is interesting because I do feel like there's some people that will certainly have the stylist travel with them. And then there's some people that, maybe a stylist will kind of put together almost like a tour capsule, similar like if you were going on a trip or something and we were going to put together a little capsule wardrobe for you. So they kind of have that. But then when it's like game time, they dress themselves.
Right.
The guys dress themselves. I mean, I push their wardrobe cases. I'll tell you, I got those.
Yeah.
You know, they
Open it
have
up.
stuff.
Oh, they open it up. It's a whole closet with a shoe thing and multiple drawers on one side. And let me tell you, I know those very, very
Mhm.
close and personal. I
Mhm.
push those babies. And I set up their dressing room
Mhm.
every show.
Mhm.
So kind of making sure
Yeah.
everything's easily accessible for them. Basically, my job is to make sure everybody can do their job nicely.
That's
Right.
amazing. Yeah, I think too, like what they will want to wear on stage, and I'm sure like when they're jamming out, is totally different than
Hell
say
yeah.
like event styling for a red carpet.
Very
you know?
much.
I'm sure there's a lot of personal preference and fit and things that have to go into that to make sure they can do all the moves they need to do.
Yeah,
whatever
jump
they're
up
doing
and
up
down
there.
with
Yeah.
their guitar, which is also drastically different from the way they look when they walk into the building. Much like
Sure.
all of us, it is 7:00 in the morning, 8:00 in the morning. They're wearing Crocs, holy sweatpants, a t-shirt that they've had since they were in high school.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And then, take a shower and all of a sudden it's like magic.
Yeah. Glam.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wave the magic wand.
Correct.
What type of clients do you work with? Everybody, male, female,
Yeah.
younger, older,
So,
business.
like I will tell you, I've worked with some clients' kids, and I think the oldest client I've ever worked with, I think she was almost 90.
All
So
right.
when I tell you I've literally worked with babies
Yeah.
to 90, and yes, men and women, all different walks of life, all different lifestyles, roles, chapters in their lives. Um, a dog.
That's right.
Just a dog. Um, but yeah, that's if you were to ask me like what's my favorite part of what I get to do, it would be that for sure. It's the people I get to work with. This is going to sound so stupid, but it's such a reminder of like everyone is so different
Mhm.
and everyone is so the same all at once.
Right.
Like I could work with someone that is, in boardrooms, 5 days a week, has 16 million kids, sits on 6 different boards, and then turn around and work with someone who's like a laid back artist that works from home, like travels, like whatever. And there's going to be things that are of course wildly different with what they need, but then there's also going to be some parallels that are just like true.
Yeah.
Um and that's just a really cool like reminder to get to witness, I think, every day.
That's fascinating.
Mhm.
What would your specialty be? Do you have one? Like being in Nashville, Tennessee, is it a Southern look?
Oh, I so whenever I first moved to Nashville, I do remember feeling like there are so many stylists here comparatively to some other cities.
Right.
And I remember thinking, what am I going to be good for? Like, I would see or I'd meet some stylists and I was like, wow, they really have this unique look to them. They get hired for this type of artist or, a stylist that maybe has been doing it for 30 years, they have this sort of aesthetic and get hired by this certain person. And I just remember thinking like there's no way I'm going to fit anywhere. Like what is my but I think that has actually become something that I, pride myself on a little bit is almost like working with a really good interior designer.
Mhm.
I like to think that I can sort of remove myself a little bit from whoever I'm working with and appreciate them more like from an unbiased eye. Like I never want it to feel like, and I tell people this, like I don't want you to ever think I'm like trying to dress a bunch of little Carsons and send them out in the
Right.
world.
Yeah.
It goes back to kind of that detective work and getting to work one on one with people and sort of learn what's important to them. What do they gravitate towards? Even if it's something I myself would never wear. And let that kind of shine for them. So I do like to feel like I can be a chameleon in that way when working one on one with people. But if I were to like sit back and look at my roster of clients, definitely it is majority female. I would say probably 85-90% female.
Mhm.
Um ages run the gamut, but if again if I'm just like looking at majority, it would certainly be like 30s into like 60s. um Working, I see a lot of pre-post mamas. That's like a huge kind of time to navigate, as you can imagine, changing bodies. But yeah, it runs the gamut. So
Nice.
mhm.
Nice. Well, as I said, we are here in fall and we want to know your tips for first, we'll start with women
Okay.
for this fall. And
Mhm.
is there something right now that is kind of becoming trendier
Mhm.
than possibly last fall?
Sure. Well, the thing with trends is that like clockwork, they come around each season without fail. So I'd like to put a big disclaimer when talking about trends that not every trend has to be for everybody.
Mhm.
You can always count on them just like a revolving door going out and more coming back in. So I never want anyone to feel pressure to like purchase based on trends or feel like they see someone else wearing a trend. So then they have to. Um, I think with fall, I can actually like answer women and men at the same time. I feel
Perfect.
like rather than feeling like you have to go seek out some of these new fall trends or looks and then translate it to your own wardrobe. For both men and women, I think I kind of want to reverse that, if that's okay, and say I'd rather you challenge you to start with what you already have, looks that you wear all the time. Like, if you have a certain formula or a certain uniform that you find yourself going to time and time again, look at that and think, how can I elevate that for fall? Rather than feeling like you're having to match like some outside influence, like look at what you're already comfortable in. Because let's face it, we all get dressed every single day. Chances are, even if you don't think you put a lot of thought into it, you probably have certain formulas or certain, go-to outfits that you wear time and time again. So I think, especially for guys, I find that can be like a really good kind of challenge, because I think it's easy. I mean, for everyone, but I think it's easy for guys just to get into the like, okay, this is just my uniform. I wear pants and a shirt. I wear pants and a shirt. That's just every day.
Exactly.
So just like looking at what your base uniform typically is and thinking, how can I either elevate that or refresh something or switch something up, I think might be a little bit more productive and realistic for people than like watching the top 5 runway shows and figuring out how to translate that,
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Sam Cat, what's your go-to fall fashion outfit besides the one you're wearing right now? If you're going out Saturday, you're going pumpkin picking with a guy who looks like JJ Watt, 6'5". You got some apple cider.
I mean, if he looks like JJ Watt, I'm probably not wearing much.
She's
but
in.
anyways, sorry, Dad. I don't know. I feel like black is my comfort zone because I know I look good in it and it makes me feel secure. But I love a shacket. I love a pop of plaid just because I don't know why. I've just always loved plaid. But I'm a big leggings gal. When you have thighs that save lives like mine because they're real thick, leggings are your best friend, and fall is kind of the best time to wear them, fall into winter. I do have to say, shout out to Abercrombie coming up with the Curve Love line. Nice. I have re-fallen in love with denim, which did not happen until I was 30 years old. I want to let everybody know that I tried on a pair of Curve Love jeans for the first time and I cried at 30 years old because it was the first pair of jeans that ever fit me without a belt. And I just had all these memories back to like fighting with my mom, going back to school shopping, and I hated it. And now I feel like I've really tried to lean into, I find it funny that you said you start to work with people in their 30s or women in their 30s. First of all, you can't afford a personal stylist before you're 30 anyway. But also I think that I've taken it a little more seriously in the fact that ignoring trends and really trying to lean into what I look good in, but what I feel good in. And I liked the word sustainability that you said. I want something that is age appropriate for me, but I could also wear in 10 years. That's a very long answer to my fall fashion, but I just feel like it's something within that scope. And I feel like, yeah, I might feel one way this year and next year it might be different, but I do try and look for something that I'm not going to look back on a picture like I do now. And I'm like, what the hell was I thinking at that pumpkin patch with that guy that looked like JJ Watt?
Well, you do go through phases. And I remember phases of like, oh my gosh, I specifically remember times in college where, like, did you ever have those feelings where like, if I went out and then I didn't feel good in what I was wearing, like it would ruin your night?
I still have those.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 33 years old and I still have those.
And like, I think about like why that was or what was going on. And of course, like it didn't matter what it looked like to anybody else. Like it was because the way the clothes felt on my body. And like I was like looking around and I wasn't wearing what maybe other people were wearing. And that like, oh my God, it could like ruin your whole day or your whole night or whatever. And so that's what I think, like you just go through different phases. And to your point, that might be why maybe in your 30s, I'm not saying it gets wildly easier. That all still happens. But maybe you're just able to have a little bit more of the self-awareness of like, you know what? This is what I feel good in. This is what I'm not going to be so influenced by what everyone else around me is wearing. And that's just like different chapters and different phases and comes and goes. But I'm so glad you found a pair of jeans you like. That is not easy.
Every pair of pants I own now are from Abercrombie Curve Love.
Were you having a problem when you were trying on jeans and you said to not wear a belt? Is it because when you sat, you'd get like that gapey fit because you have a tiny waist and then to fit your...
I did gymnastics for my whole life, and you build muscles where typically teenage girls don't have muscles. And it was always a terrible time. I hated clothes. I hated going out and buying clothes, like I said, because it never fit. There was not a market for girls who looked like me until I feel like relatively recently, which I know is tragic to say, but it's the truth. Whoever invented stretch denim, I'd love to give them a hug. Like, where have you been all my life? So, you know, then skinny jeans were in, but it was kind of like jeggings and that kind of thing, which was great. However, jeggings still did not fix the problem of, I could get it up over my thighs and my ass, but then once I buttoned it, there was gaping, and I'm not really trying to bend over and give everybody a free show. Right. So
no, I remember going straight from, do you remember how maybe there still is Abercrombie and Fitch? And
I was going to say, is this like the biggest comeback of all time?
Did y'all watch that documentary?
For me personally, yes. Yeah. I did watch the documentary. It is the biggest comeback of all time. I don't know what happened along the lines, but thank you.
Is there no more Fitch?
Yeah, is there
it's just Fitch? I don't know. I think the tag still says Abercrombie and Fitch, but I don't really know
I remember when I was like in middle school or like younger, I went straight from, because it was like by sizes then. It was like Abercrombie was like juniors, and I had to go. I was a big bone little girl, so I had to go straight to Abercrombie and Fitch. I remember just being like, it's fine, it's just because I'm so mature for my age. But that I've always had that problem with pants and jeans. And just FYI to anyone listening who has like the constant like gap or feels like they have to like size up and then it's huge around their waist. It is it's like a $5, $10 alteration to have jeans taken in the back. They just create a little V like in between the two butt pockets and just snatch it right there at the waist, but keep all the rest of, they just carry it through the leg. So it still tapers through the leg. Just FYI, if anyone struggles with that gapping thing, please just go to a tailor, and it is such a simple alteration and it will make a world of difference in all your pants and all your jeans. That's one thing it's not specifically fall fashion, but like just a blanket statement. I do wish people valued a tailor or a seamstress more. I think that's something that, I don't know, in modern times we don't think about when we're buying something or looking for something. Right. But to me, it just goes hand in hand with mass manufactured clothing. Like, of course, things aren't going to fit you perfectly, you know? So getting in touch and fostering your relationship with your tailor is important.
Yeah. Because it's so hard to find the brand that you like that fits the way you want it. It's like, obviously everybody's body is different, but I am so, like I said earlier, I just like how I feel and not as much the look. Like if I can get a pair of pants that I like that fit good, and I can get a regular solid t-shirt that fits me good, that's what I want to wear.
So would you say that's your fall uniform or sort of your go-to?
Yeah, jeans. I like boots. I can't get on the sneaker trend.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me because you have such a great like eye for athletics and have that influence of being in the gym. I'm surprised you don't like a little athleisure touch here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I wear sneakers every day at the gym, obviously when I'm working out. But when it comes to like jeans or nicer pants, I prefer boots. I always have. I don't like the look of suits with sneakers either. For some reason, I can't. I watch like all these analysts on TV, football, and they're all wearing like bright white sneakers.
I was going to say, I have a couple clients who are pro athletes, and that's like
all they wear. Yeah. And I'm like, I would rather have like a really nice pair of shoes, dress shoes.
Yeah.
That's me.
It could be because you are like, that's part of your job, right? Sometimes I feel like that happens when something's like a part of your job. You're like, this is for work. Like, I'm going to change now to go out.
Because I'm always wearing sneakers every day. And but my fall uniform would probably be, I like the Henleys long sleeves. I like the waffle shirts long sleeves. As long as it's like tight fitting.
Shawn loves tight fitting clothing.
Oh yeah, you don't say. What movie was that from when he was like, or no? They're like baby gap tee.
Yeah.
You love a baby gap tee.
He also wears baby gap jeggings as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I'm impressed that you can even like step upstairs in some of the pants you wear. I'm like, Jesus.
I know. I'm telling you, you should feel these ones. It's
no,
crazy.
I was actually checking them out earlier and we were downstairs, and I feel like personally, I'm a big fan of the sneaker and I'm a big fan of the athleisure look. I think it just translates well to my job as well, which does surprise me that you're not on it, but I've never noticed until you just mentioned it, that you never wear sneakers with your pants outside of the
And
gym.
I have a million pairs of sneakers at my
Right.
house, but if I'm wearing jeans, I have some dressier, nicer sneakers. But yeah, I mean, I'll wear Converse.
Is it just on you or just men in general? Like you said, you were watching the analyst and you're like, what are you doing, dude? Or is it just like, I don't vibe with this?
I think it's maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think some guys can pull it off for sure, but if I'm looking at somebody wearing a super nice suit and then they have sneakers on, I'm like, I don't know.
You know
about
what
that.
I do find a lot of times is people sometimes consciously, but mostly subconsciously, will kind of put their closets into categories.
Yeah.
Like they'll say, like, this is like, I'll do the example of like a blazer. This happens all the time with women that have to wear blazers or something more formal to a workplace. They're like, that's for work. You know, this is something that I wear into the office. Therefore, I can't wear it anywhere else. So they may have like this beautiful section of their closet that just like isn't getting maximized. You know, well, I'll say like, why don't we wear this blazer with a sassy little something or a slip dress and you can take it out to dinner? And they're just like, what? That's for work. Like, well, how could I wear that out to dinner? So I do think subconsciously our mind kind of puts things into shortcuts for us. And sometimes that's why it's like, you might feel like, how could I wear sneakers out? Like that's for work. Like that's in that category.
Yeah. I think a lot of it's just getting over that mental hurdle. Maybe I would love it. I just got to try it.
I know. Something to try.
Try something new. Leather cat.
Leather cat.
Well, we have, you said you work with a lot of females. Yes. And luckily for you, I got a ton of responses on my Instagram story for questions for you, and it's mostly females.
Oh my gosh, I hope that I can answer the question. I'm so embarrassed if I can't answer them.
I mean, I think we just talked about this one. How to style thick legs without looking larger than I am when it has 3 C's in thick.
Hey.
Thick with 3 C's. That's what I like.
C's.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Go to tailor.
I think knowing a tailor is extremely important. Like, don't feel like something off the rack is as it needs to be. Like, mass manufactured clothing, let me tell you this. There is no such thing as standardized sizing, A. So, like, I'm sure all of us have experienced, I go into a store, I try on one pair of jeans, I'm this size. I try on this brand, I'm that size. It's the wild, wild west. There's no regulations. Brands don't have to like, a 6 in one brand does not have to be the same measurement as a 6. There's no regulating it. So like, don't even kind of try to throw that out the window. I know it's so hard. But just think like, how can I make this fit to me? So, if you want to size up so that it feels good and is tapered correctly through the leg, and then you go and pay $5-10 to have it taken in the waist, like it's going to look so much better and it's going to feel so much better. And then you can kind of consider it custom denim, No one else has that pair.
All right.
Wait. But she said in her question, she said that she's thick, and she asked, how do I dress myself to not look bigger than I am? And I feel like there's a lot of trendy for women right now that's like oversized. And I would love if you have any tips and tricks, because I also feel the same way. Yeah. I see these skinny girls that are wearing oversized stuff, and then I try to wear that shirt and I look like Miss Trenchable, and it is not cute. And I don't know if there's a way. Maybe it's just not for me. Like you said, some trends are not for you.
Have you all seen those? Is it an Instagram account, or is it just like a meme or something that's like, is it fashion or is it just Hailey Bieber?
Yes.
Have you seen
Yes, 100%.
Like, is this actually cute, or is she just, 8 feet tall and skinny? Yeah. No, that's so real. Okay. I feel like to answer that, 2 things that stylists are constantly cycling through our heads that like maybe no one talks about is the idea of contrast and the idea of balance. Okay. So I think for that, when it comes to like the shape of my body or the fit of something, it's about balance. I could even bring up like your shacket there. Like it only works because it's balanced out by the more fitted tee underneath. So if she feels like she's easily overwhelmed by extra fabric, there's a fine line between, is it blousy or is it adding bulk? Always try to like find some sort of balance or some sort of relief. So if it's a voluminous trouser, like try to balance it out with like less volume on top or around your waist or something, and vice versa. If it is that oversized blazer, how can I balance that with like something a bit more fitted underneath?
Mhm.
So yeah, if something isn't just jiving and you can't like put your finger on what it is, 9 times out of 10, it's probably either has to do with balance or contrast.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
There we go. Thoughts on white pants after Labor Day?
Yeah, that's I think I'm like such a no rules person. I have no rules. I think I actually love a beautiful like winter white monochromatic Diane Keaton moment, like white on white on white. I'm all for it. I really when it comes to seasonality, I think I care more about like the fabrication of things. Like I wouldn't want someone to wear eyelet or seersucker or like something really gauzy or like linen during winter because that just doesn't seem very practical. But when it
Right.
comes to different colors, I think throw all that out the window
Yeah.
personally.
And I'd say I don't think any of the guys care if you're wearing white pants after Labor Day.
Okay, good. Well, there you go.
Who
Yeah.
started that? I feel like the Kennedys or
I
something
know
back
it's
in the day.
it's
Like,
such an old thing. I honestly, that would be a great Google because I don't know where that started.
All right. Here we go.
oh, we're gonna Google it.
Alex
Oh,
got the Google machine up
give
and
it a
running.
goog.
Who started white pants as a no-no after Labor Day?
I just feel like it's very dated.
Like, did it come from some of these things? It surprises you.
In the early 1900s, those who were well-to-do often favored lightweight, bright clothing, white linen suits and breezy dresses. Wearing white after Labor Day meant you were someone who had the means to have end of summer vacations.
Uh,
Wearing your whites beyond Labor Day was just, well, showing off.
Okay.
There we go.
So what?
So
That
no
is the dumbest
answer.
rule.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there has to be something.
Wealthy women, old money.
Uh-huh.
Hey, I want to look like old money.
I only have one rule. There's one rule, and you can ask any of my clients, like, because I say this all the time and it's so cheesy. But the only, like, no matter what I say, anything I ever say is always just like a tip or a suggestion. It's never a rule. You never have to listen to me. But my only rule is just to wear what you want.
There we go.
That's it.
The only rule is no rules.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one rule.
This is a good question. I like this one. As a self-designated stylist for my husband,
Mm.
what's in style for men? Tops, bottoms, shoes.
Okay. Well, of course, I would love like more info on what this husband does and what he likes and what he gets a lot of use out of. But isn't that choo choo? Do I have to wait for it to go by? Or is it okay? Okay. Sorry. That's, power to the household stylist because I feel like that gets thrusted upon a lot of people. They have to be the
Yeah.
stylist for their partner, for their kids, for themselves, for the whole household. I would probably bring it back to, okay, what do you know he likes to wear, even if you hate it? Like let's just kind of spell that out. Like, what are his basics? What are his go-tos? And then how can we either, if you feel like that's not very current anymore, how could we kind of like bring that up a little bit and how could we elevate it? But I feel like that is just the approach to take versus I saw Shawn Booth wearing this amazing outfit. And so now I want to force my husband into that,
Mhm.
So if he is someone like, I'll just throw out a wild guess here and say he probably likes to be really comfortable. Maybe he doesn't like to put a lot of thought into his clothes. And so he likes to dress really kind of laid back. Fit for guys is just so important. So maybe looking into some of these brands that are have some more modern styles, some more tapered fits than maybe he's used to.
Mhm.
If he is like a total classic, like just dude, I just want to be in khakis and an ill-fitted button down, I can tell you right now, please check out the Mizzen and Main shirts. Have you ever tried Mizzen and Main shirts?
I don't think so.
They're awesome. You'd love them because they have like all this stretch through the shoulders, but you can get them in like a tapered slim fit. So they don't have like that like
Yeah, I hate that.
blousy. Yes. Yes. And then I think like a hybrid pant, kind of like what you've been getting into.
Yeah.
So, not just like a straight up khaki or straight up chino, but like a great one is the Tellus by AG. The ABC pant by Lululemon or the little Viore hybrid pant you have on. Those are all great. Peter Millar actually makes a really great 5-pocket pant. Those will be just as easy for him to put on as like a khaki or a slack or a jean. But the fabrication of it will look a little bit more tapered and a little bit more modern without him even having to go get alterations.
All right. Piece of cake.
Yeah.
Must be nice. He doesn't have to worry about anything. Just wife picks out his outfit, throws it on the bed.
I need a wife.
I know. I mean, same.
All right. A lot of questions about budget. Style on a budget. What style pants look good on an apple-shaped body? We've gotten into a lot of shapes.
Shapes.
It's what women have, boo.
Yeah.
Okay. He's like, fruits?
Well,
fruit?
Fruits. More like vegetables, because she said, feel like a potato.
Oh, bless it.
So.
Been there.
Okay, so if she's telling me apple shape, for most women that translates into carrying some of their weight, or maybe some of their insecure areas are in the midsection. That is super common no matter what your frame is. Women closer to menopause tend to feel a bit more apple shaped. It's just something super common that happens. I never want someone to feel like, oh, I have to hide one part of my body and then only highlight another part. But like, it is so realistic to not feel good about every single part of your body. That's just the truth. I mean, I've worked with like literal Victoria's Secret angels, and I have plenty of clients who are plus and all different body types. And, I love the idea of like, oh, just accept your body the way it is. And like, I love that. And yes, we should all try to do that. But it is just human nature that there's always going to be parts that we feel more comfortable highlighting than others. Or we just want things to fit a little bit differently on certain parts of our body than on other parts. That is human nature, and it's totally normal. So for an apple shape, I would say she probably also has a larger bust. Don't shy away from necklines. I think women that maybe grew up with a larger bust were always told like cover up, like wear something by their mothers or their grandmothers or something. And what that can do is actually kind of create more surface area. So like, don't be afraid of just like a modified V-neck or a scoop neck or something. Bridge the gap between, what you feel comfortable in flowing away from your midsection and adding bulk. I don't want anyone to just like start wearing 3 sizes too big just to feel like they need to cover up and create a tent, because that can actually just add bulk and make you look a little bit even larger, which I don't think. And then she probably does have some really great legs. Apple shapes tend to have really like sculpted, naturally thinner legs. So definitely don't be afraid of like a little bit shorter hemline. No matter your age. That's another thing I think rules should go out the window for.
Okay.
It's like dressing my age. I don't really know what that means. I've noticed with a lot of my clients that are in that like 50, 60, 70 range, I think it's interesting. I really think they are the first of their demographic, in that what they have pictured in their head as a 50, 60, or 70-year-old, like maybe what they grew up seeing their grandma looking like or their mom looking like, versus what they feel like and look like at 50, 60, 70, two totally different images. Like, think of like the 50, 60, 70-year-old women in your life. Like, they're probably still like so active, living full lives, like dressing beautifully. Like, I think they hold an image of what their grandma was at 70, and it was probably,
right,
in a muumuu, bouffant hair, that sort of thing. So I've found that there is a big disconnect in that demographic between how they feel and what they think they should be in.
Right.
So that's why I say, I think, especially for that demographic, to throw the whole dressing my age out the window, because most of the time you're just wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you feel this way. You should always use how you feel as the compass and not how you picture it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Going on that, do you always feel like everything comes back? And we talked about it a little bit earlier, but as far as trends, like bell bottoms, I feel like I start to see more. Yeah.
I love bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, for sure, it's a revolving door.
Always.
Yeah. Different decades, especially, I think once they reach that mark of vintage, have like a new kind of found novelty to them and a new appeal.
Yeah.
So like, whenever I was in high school and even college, like the 70s, I mean, and even still, like we just thought that was like so cool, looking back on pictures of our mom in the 70s.
Right.
Now, I don't know if y'all have seen like the Y2K is like so trendy. Can you even believe it?
Yeah, I walked into Target and had like an aneurysm because I don't know what the Britney Justin VMAs 1998 was going on in there, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
That looks like I wanted to put my hair in space buns and go to Limited too.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah,
but like if you think about it, like that's vintage now.
That is
so that
horrendous
has that,
to hear.
That has like vintage appeal. I know. Like that is the getting to that, over that 20-year mark.
It's wild.
Yeah.
20. Oh, yeah, it's 20.
Right?
Yeah, no, that's weird.
Y2K.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
There we
fine.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
fine.
oversized and baggy is definitely back.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's 90s.
Yeah.
And the thing about Y2K that I've noticed that has come back, like they didn't pick any of the cute things to bring back. Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Like, why is everything metallic at Target right now?
And it could be just the age demographic that I am, but I will see people and I'll sometimes, and I never judge anybody. I have people ask me that all the time. Like, as a stylist, you just like judge the way people look? No, 100% no. But like, there has been a couple of times where I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so on trend. Look at her Y2K look. But then I'm like, it's right on that verge of like, or is it just really dated?
Mhm.
Like, or are those actually just genuinely like old clothes? I don't like, it's hard for me to even decipher sometimes. But again, wear what you want,
I see some people, and I think it's mostly NFL Instagram of guys walking into the locker room. And I'm like, these guys just find the most outrageous things that you could possibly throw on your body. No matching, no rhyme or reason to it. And it's just a statement piece. And it's like, that's style.
But think about what they're dressing for. They're not going into like a 9-to-5 office. Like they are literally dressing for a moment.
For that
like
picture.
a photograph coming off a plane. Like it's almost like more like event styling in that way. Like trying to like make this statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about dad shoes? Because I always give Dre crap about this. I'm like, girls,
you mean
just,
like actually
like the New
tennis
Balances
shoes.
And
I thought you meant like as a dad. Like
no. Now all the girls are wearing all those dad shoes that everybody used to make fun of as fashion. It just seems like big, clunky, ugly
dino stompers
sneakers.
Yeah. Okay. This may or may not be relevant here, but I always find it really interesting. There's like, have you ever heard of like the trickle up versus trickle down theory? So there's the trickle down theory is when something starts with designers or like on the runway. And then, a couple seasons go by, a couple years go by, and you see it sprinkled into just, you'll see it on the street. You'll see it in retailers, right? There's also then the trickle up theory where it's kind of the reverse of that, where maybe designers take inspiration from cultural happenings or people on the street or, just common influence. And then it trickles up. And in a couple of years or the next season or something, you see it on the runway. I think that sneakers across the board are like a prime textbook example of the trickle up theory. So, I don't know if y'all have spent a lot of time in New York, but not in recent years. For decades, you would see women walking down the streets of New York with their work shoes in their bag, and they'd be all dressed up, but then sneakers on their feet, to like get to work. Then, oh God, I forget. I used to know the exact show it was. Was it Dior? And I forget the year, but there was like a pivotal runway show where it was like the first time sneakers were like styled on the runway. And that was because it trickled up. And the designer said, it took inspiration from the streets of New York. So I kind of feel like just overall sneakers are like a really cool, interesting example of the trickle up theory. And then like anything else, it just has to have its evolution and get bigger and chunkier and wilder. Right. And now you see it, every brand has a sneaker now. So,
and I feel like there's so much influence from TikTok, Instagram, like you're saying, the Hailey Bieber. If one person wears the ugliest sneakers that you can find, post a photo, and it's like, boom, everybody goes out and gets them.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about fashion is it can be a real sign of the times and kind of like a cultural snapshot of history, for better or for worse.
Right. Well, to stay on the footwear, we had a question. What are the staple boots for fall this year?
Ooh, staple boots. Well, I'm a fan of first kind of getting the basics covered. So I would tell someone, if you don't have neutral, I would say, like, if I could wave my magic wand and give everyone like a foundational, couple pairs of boots to get them started, I would want a light neutral. So think like a tan, a taupe, a gray, something kind of light, and then like a black. And I think, something that could be slightly dressed up. What's great about a dressy boot in the fall or winter is like 9 times out of 10 that can replace the need to wear like a heel or a pump, like Exhibit A in leather cats.
Pumps.
These are not pumps, Booth. We said that already.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah. So yeah, something that's like a bit cleaner, a bit dressier in a black, and then a light taupey color. Those would be my starting roster. And if you do go with a suede, just do yourself a favor and get a suede protector off of Amazon. Spray them down once a year.
Yeah.
And they'll last forever.
Those look like witches' boots over there, Sam Cat. Is that for like Halloween?
You better watch yourself. I'll cast a spell on you.
Fashion please over here.
I have them in a camel color as well as a white.
Love it. White also, I think, is like a very slept on color for shoes in general, but definitely a boot.
Unfortunately, I love white shoes. They do not love being active because they're always dirty, but
oh yeah,
I really like that look.
Can go with so much.
Can I ask a question after build off this? How you're saying like build the neutrals for your shoes?
Yes.
What are your so my dream? I would love to be the girl that has a capsule wardrobe. I am not that girl. I want to be. How do you start that?
Okay.
I know you said start in your closet.
Yes. Yes.
What's my next step? I've already done that.
Okay.
So what's step number 2 in your opinion?
Okay. Well, first of all, I think that the word capsule has kind of become like a buzzword.
Oh, okay.
I think so, don't feel like it's this great equation or like this specific idyllic group of clothes that like you can just like follow these instructions for. I think what's appealing about a capsule wardrobe is that you're using every bit of it. And I think that that's just how we should approach our wardrobes anyway. So I think, less pressure on let me create a capsule and more pressure on how like making sure that you're using every bit of your closet in one way or the other. And there's all different kinds of little tricks and systems to do that. You can, every time you wear something, you can put it in one section of your closet. And then after a year, go back and look at the pile that you haven't worn and kind of reevaluate. Maximizing versatility. I think, again, going back to like the categories, if we can kind of like challenge ourselves to get rid of those categories that we assign to different things, like, oh, this is only my going out jean, or this is only my work jean or something, trying really hard to do away with that. Here's like a more tactical tip. I really think the way you set up your closet and I'm not like a home edit, perfectly organized, like, let's be clear, my closet is just as messy as everyone else's. But I do think that the way you lay it out and organize things can actually have a huge impact on how you see things and how you pull for things. So rather than having like, I see often people do like, here's my spring summer section, here's my fall winter section, or here's my work section, here's my casual section, like really and truly like just color coord all your pants have together. All your shirts have together. And, whether you want to do it by like sleeve and color or whatever works best for you, but really try to just like force it into being a cohesive collection versus just a like, what am I looking for today kind of a thing. Yeah. I think how you organize your closet is, comes into play there. Also, just going through the process of organizing your closet, I can almost guarantee you that you'll probably pare down and get rid of some things, because you'll be like, oh, I'm not going to take the time to put this on a new felt hanger if I don't actually like it.
Right. Yeah. I have a tough time of letting go of clothes. I have so many clothes. I'm like, I'm going to wear that eventually, or I know I'm going to wear that.
Yeah.
And I got to find like the right mindset. And then I'll leave my house with like 5 trash bags headed towards Goodwill.
Yeah. It feels really good. I think, identifying nonprofits or even just where you're going to take those clothes, if you can identify that first before you even start pulling things, I find it can be a lot easier to let go of things if you can already picture where they're going to end up.
Right.
So, like already having the bins out, already having the bags out, knowing, okay, I'm doing a drop off at, ARC or National Mission or whatever. That can be really helpful with that. And also just accepting that, I say this all the time, things aren't saving you any money by hanging in your closet. I think we all, especially if something's like hanging there with a tag on it, we all get guilty and, feel that like, oh, should I really let it go? Should I save it, whatever. Really, the more cluttered your closet is, that's when impulse purchases happen. So if anything, it might be costing you money in the long run to not keep it really pared down. So, I know it stings a little bit, and that's just, again, human nature. Letting go of something is never easy, but it's not saving you any money just by taking up space.
It's a good tip.
Mm-hmm.
You could translate that to relationships as well. Right?
It's not saving you any energy by taking up space. It's prime real estate,
What about boots with the fur? Uggs. What happened to those? Are those back?
I'm embarrassed.
Are you just like thinking of song lyrics? You're just gonna be like, I love lamp. Just start saying things.
Are they coming back or what?
Boots with the fur? Are you talking about Uggs specifically?
Uggs, yeah.
Okay.
That was like the hottest thing in the world at one point.
People love their Uggs. I'm going to get in trouble if I say anything about Uggs.
Well, let's
say
hear
it.
Uggs and Birkenstocks.
We get in trouble all the time.
Oh, Birkenstocks.
For me personally, it's fine as a house shoe, a house slipper.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest. Oh, here you go.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the Barbie movie?
I haven't. No.
Okay. Well, Birkenstocks get a great little.
Birkenstocks just remind me of 6th grade, and it's like, why do we have to go back there?
And anyone, please don't come for me. I think wear your Birkenstock. If you love them, if you love your Uggs, please do wear them. But just also know that I promise you there's some other options.
Yes.
There's some really comfortable, great, supportive sandals and boots out there. Like there are alternatives.
Like Crocs.
Or not. Like Crocs.
Great. I was a Croc hater. And then I got a pair last year, and I love them.
Do you wear them only in the house?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll wear them to the gym in the morning.
Okay.
And put on my sneakers.
And also out to dinner and to the
out
club.
To dinner. Yeah, exactly. Out to Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woof. Okay. Fine. Good. Love that for you.
No
Love
rules,
that journey for you.
What is your biggest fashion faux pas that you're just like? I know you said that. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yes,
no
wear
rules,
whatever the hell you want.
If there's one thing where you're like, you got to stop wearing this or doing this.
Oh, I don't like that.
You hurt people's feelings.
No. Okay. I don't have anything like that. I never judge someone on what. Oh, actually, I have something I say when people ask me that. I only judge people if they pay me to. So I don't go around on the street, thinking, oh, that's such a fashion faux pas or that's such a mistake that person made. I will say I have 2 things. One, maybe it bothers me when I see, I'll call it missed opportunity. Like, I'll notice someone that is doing so much, maybe they have a lot going on. They're clearly juggling a lot of balls. But like it's like very clear to me that they didn't take just like a couple minutes to get dressed in a way that maybe would have like helped them throughout their day. And that makes me sad when I see that. So I'm never like, oh my God, what that person is wearing is so awful. But I do sometimes get sad when I think, oh my gosh, they could have just had a couple minutes and worn something, they're such a beautiful person. They could have just,
What's an example of that though? Like they're wearing leggings that don't fit them?
Something that just like wildly doesn't fit them or, yeah, you can just tell maybe they just wore it out of necessity versus putting it on because it really made them feel good or it matched like who they are. Another thing that I do have a hard time like turning a blind eye to sometimes, and this is with guys, is fit. Guys have such less wiggle room than girls when it comes to fit. Like people are always like, oh, I bet it's so fun dressing guys. I bet it's so much easier. And it's like, yes and no. Because like with girls, we could front and tuck this, we can belt that, we can, with guys, especially with like suiting or sport coats or whatever, it kind of either fits or it doesn't.
Right.
So I've become a bit of a snob, I think, when it comes to men's tailoring and how things fit.
Yeah, I feel like you have to when you get a suit,
Mm-hmm.
get it tailored.
Especially on TV. When I see a guy with pants too long or sport coat that doesn't fit, it does drive me a little crazy because I just feel like, you knew you were going to be in frame. Like, why didn't someone tell you to go get your pants hemmed?
Yeah. Yeah. When I went on the Bachelorette, we had to buy all of our own clothes. And I remember I spent like $5,000-$6,000 on like a few suits.
Mm-hmm.
Put the credit card out and just like made sure that they were tailored.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Nordstrom.
Mm-hmm.
But I wear them to this day. Like I feel like if you get a good suit, you can have that for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Did they have any stylists on set to help y'all?
They did when you got towards the end of the show. She has a stylist at all times. All of her outfits are picked up by the stylist. I remember the stylist came in when I was going to propose. So they worked with Hugo Boss, which was awesome. So they'd put together an outfit for the proposal, another outfit for like after the final rose. But for the most part, you just have your own clothes.
Just winging it?
For 12 weeks, yeah.
Like, so if a guy showed up and his like shirt wasn't tucked in or something looked like super wrinkly or like horrible, they just like let him roll with it?
Yeah.
Like if he had like a big pizza stain or something, they're just like, looks great. Let's go.
Yeah. It's a good question.
Get rolling.
Yeah. I wonder what they would do. They would probably try and help you out somehow.
I hope so.
Yeah. I remember like as the show was going on, we're running out of clothes here. We went to we were in New York.
Talk about a capsule.
Yeah. Needed a capsule. Yeah. But no, we didn't have stylists for that.
And how long was that? Did you have to like live with the same clothes?
12 weeks.
It's a long time. It's a lot of clothes.
Yeah. It's a lot of clothes. But yeah, I like a good suit. I like a good suit.
Do you get to get dressed up very much? Or do you feel like you're like Jim?
Not too much. I like getting dressed up. Yeah. I would say maybe once, twice a month.
Yeah.
Tops.
Nashville's so funny because I feel like you could go to the very nicest place, in town and still wear a pair of like dressed up denim.
Yeah.
Like it's such a big denim town.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I'm going to hit you with some rapid fire.
Okay. I'll try to be
I'm going to tell you a location
Ooh.
that you're going to.
Okay.
And the first thought that comes to mind of what you would wear.
What I would wear.
Yep.
Okay.
The very first thing.
Dressed up PJs. Clearly.
All right. We are going to have you go to Cane Prime, which is one of the nicest steak restaurants in the country.
I'm probably putting on something that I haven't in from Rent the Runway. I'm a big renter.
Okay.
Let's talk about sustainability. Do you know what Rent the Runway is?
I don't.
Okay. I wish there was a men's equivalent. It's only a matter of time. But so it's basically, I pay a membership monthly and I can go on and select, like, you can change how many you want. I think I have like 6 items that I can get in. My fancy PJ set is from Rent the Runway.
All right.
So then when I'm done with it, I can send it back or I can keep it for like 2 years. It's amazing. It's like a subscription service, but you send the clothes back and you get new ones. It's incredible. So for like something dressed up, maybe it's like a little more novelty. I don't want to go buy a new dress to wear one time. For sure, Rent the Runway.
Okay. Broadway, Honky Tonk Central. You're going out with the ladies.
Well, first, I probably wouldn't be going there. But second,
you're not going to be wearing cowboy boots.
Oh, I don't know. That's probably where I would wear a already pre-beat up, pre-loved fashion sneaker because you don't know what you're going to be walking through.
When I go to Broadway, I'm like, I am wearing old favorite boots that are just beat to hell.
It's the Wild Wild West up there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do like a little, they call them a waist bag, which is stupid because it doesn't really go across your waist. But like, the close fitting crossbodies you've seen that kind of go across here, just so you don't have to worry about like leaving your purse somewhere. I'm sure you worry about that all the time.
All the time.
But then, yeah, a really comfortable fashion sneaker that I'm not worried about getting a couple scuffs and stepped on a little bit, because it's probably going to.
Yeah. It's funny because I always say the way to pick out a tourist in Nashville is a girl who's wearing cowgirl boots and a hat, cowboy hat.
With a sundress.
With a sundress.
Oh, man, I do love a good cowboy boot, though.
Yeah.
You know? No shade at all.
For sure.
Yeah.
I got a pair of boots, Tacovas recently. I wear them all the time with jeans now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. You are going to go see our buddy Walker Zimmerman play at a soccer game.
Oh, do you know I haven't been to a soccer game yet here in Nashville? Or
Sam
ever?
Cat hasn't either. We're going to go soon.
Okay, fun. Okay. I think that I would not wear like a logo or a jersey, but I would look at whatever the team colors are and then base my outfit around
bright
that.
yellow.
It's bright yellow.
Yeah.
Great.
And like blue.
Yeah.
Is there a complementary color? Is there another color? Just yellow?
There's blue.
There's a little bit of blue.
Navy blue.
And
a
navy
little bit of
blue.
navy.
Yeah. So maybe I'd wear like a navy, like really comfy, like tanker tee dress or something, and some sort of like yellow fun hat, and probably like a sneaker or something really comfortable, or like find like a little like bandana or something that's like the team color. But I love for any sporting event, like not feeling like, oh, I got to go get a jersey or I got to wear the logo, and just sort of using the colors to like use what you already have.
All right. Showing the team support.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going on a hike.
Okay. A ball gown. No. Definitely my favorite leggings right now, for like actual working out are aloe. Have you ever tried aloe?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They're like extra high waisted, which I like. Like,
yes. I want my nipples in my leggings.
1000%.
Yes.
Same.
Like I want it up to my collarbone.
Yep.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. So definitely my aloe extra high rise leggings.
Is that like a comfort thing?
It's a comfort
Just
thing.
covering your stomach.
And also like mobility. I just for personally, it's like not. I don't want to say insecurity, but it is secure. Like I don't want my belly
feels good
anywhere. Like I want it to be literally like if I could put my boobs in my leggings, I would.
What about low rise? Are those like gone are the days?
Give me high waisted or give me death.
Okay, that's
you skinny little Gen Zs bringing back low waisted. I see you and I'm onto you, and
they'll go through it and then they'll understand maybe.
Yeah, well, when I had a six pack, I wore low rise too, and it was cute.
Oh man,
check back in a couple years.
Yeah,
Sarah.
Yeah, whatever.
You hate Sarah's.
Yeah.
It's not. No, someone told me I said Jessica too much. I was like, sorry, I don't even hate Jessica's.
Yeah.
I love Jessica's.
Yeah, I think too. Like if you're like me, if you kind of identify as more of a pear shape or whatever, I think the extra high waisted stays up better.
Yes,
because like we've lived our whole lives having to yank up our pants every time we stand up. It's like definitely the security. And then that's the time if I'm like actually working out, actually on a hike. Definitely a very supportive, not going for sexy tennis shoe. You know, I think I do separate my sneakers as far as like, okay, these are like my about town sneakers, like can be worn, but like not going into the gym. And then there's like the hideous Asics, Brooks, Hoka, take your pick. I mean, that's what she's wearing on a hike.
Okay. All right, great. Now this is a question just completely random off the top of my head. If you're a woman who's got 10 weeks left in her pregnancy and you're trying to feel comfortable in the fall season, what would you recommend?
So I think with expecting mamas, one thing I like to prioritize, well, because I never want anyone to feel like they have to buy like a whole new maternity wardrobe. Like that's just doesn't sound fun. One, I would tell her that the rental subscription websites like Rent the Runway have maternity sections now, which is amazing. They didn't used to have that. So you could like rent your way through those last couple of months and still have some really cute things. The other thing I would say is figure out what your most comfortable base pieces are. So like I know for like a lot of mamas having like a really good maternity legging or like the little bump suits or whatever, you know, like the bras that feel really good, the tanks that feel really good. Figure out like the parts that are actually touching your body, invest in those, figure out what like that foundation is that feels really good. And then from there, just add different third pieces. So like the fall is great because it's starting to get, well, hopefully a little cooler.
Yeah.
You know, invest in your base and then just do like little dusters on top, oversized shackets, cool blazers, cool moto jackets, whatever. Just think about like those little third pieces as just like the little covers, the little toppers to get you through. But I would definitely invest my dollar in like the pieces that are actually touching your body, and don't feel like you have to go buy like 6 maternity blouses or whatever just to get through 10 weeks.
Yeah. She loves the onesies, the
bump suits.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can just add little, like, she could steal all your shackets from the normal brand and, make it kind of cute little athleisure.
Yeah. Shackets.
Mm-hmm. Sponsored by Shackets.
Yeah. Leather Cat.
I do have a quick question.
Yep, I know you
we
do.
have time. So you mentioned that, you invest in the piece that touches your body. I think that applies to people who are also not pregnant.
Sure.
However, you mentioned blazers.
Mm-hmm.
I love the blazer look that I feel like has become pretty trendy within the last year or so.
Mm-hmm.
My first question is, do you see this trend fizzling out and it's not going to stick around?
Okay. Blazers specifically?
Yes, I'm like right in the blazer lane right now.
Yeah, focused in. So I think that and to say a specific item, no, blazers are not a trend. Blazers have been around, will be around. That's like saying, to me, it's like saying our jeans trendy, like our white t-shirts trendy. They are their own. They're a piece. Now,
wait, I think I asked it wrong then. I meant more so I don't know, 10 years ago, you didn't really wear blazers with trousers and jeans and stuff casually. Or at least I didn't. Maybe I was just too young.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of exploded recently where it's applicable. When is the last time before the last year that you saw a woman wearing a blazer with leggings underneath?
Right.
Okay. To me, that's new. How about that?
Yeah. I think the shape, to your point, I think the shape or the silhouette of that item or how it's styled can change and go through trends. And I think that's kind of an interesting progression, out of the workplace. We are seeing a lot less people in suiting, pairing blazers with pants. So I think it's kind of, maybe it goes back to that trickle down theory a little bit of people are wearing them outside of the office because people just aren't in offices. So of course you're going to see them in other ways, more street style. I think that you can feel good in purchasing a blazer you love. And then in the years to come, yes, maybe you just might style it differently. 10 years ago, whenever you were in an office job, you might have been styling it with a dress or a pencil skirt or whatever. Right. But now in 2023, in this cool part of your career that you're in, you're wearing it with your yoga pants down the street because that's where you're at.
And I love that look. However, listen, I've had 0% luck. And I am wondering, do you have a recommendation of a blazer that I could wear where I will not look like Hillary Clinton? Because I'm 0 for at least 37. I'm not even exaggerating. I've tried different cuts, different colors, different sleeve lengths. And every single time I look like I'm about to go and give a speech to the press secretary. It's disgusting.
I think something to keep your eye out for is an unlined blazer.
Unlined. What does that mean?
Unlined blazer. So if you look at a typical blazer or even sport coat, a lot of the times they have lining in them. So the silky part on the inside. Look for something that doesn't have that. So I'm trying to think. Oh, are we Googling?
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Look how cute those girls are.
She looks good.
When I wear a blazer, it's just hi, let me take you to our board meeting.
So it might be.
Do you wear a tube top like that?
It depends on how bloated I am.
But look for something that's unlined. It might be listed as even a knit blazer or a deconstructed blazer. Sometimes they'll call them, but it's the lining is.
I'm taking notes.
There's no lining inside of the blazer. So what that means is there's a whole, there's one less layer of fabric in there. So it'll be, rather than being stiff and structured due to the lining, it'll be a lot drapier and a lot softer, and you'll get that more casual drapey look. And that's when you feel you can kind of push up the sleeves, it flows a little bit better. I think probably what you're feeling whenever I hear Hillary Clinton or boardroom is that it's a very stiff, it's a blazer that has a bit more structure to it. So you need to find something that doesn't have lining, or maybe is made out of a fabric that's a lot softer. So yeah, like Google like deconstructed or knit blazer and see if that doesn't hit. I'm trying to think if I know of like, if I can think of specific ones off the top of my head. You know who has great, more casual blazers, which I feel like you wouldn't think of, is Anthropologie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Anthropologie. Another really random one that I've bought for several clients that have a hard time, like maybe if they're a bit more broad-shouldered.
Retweet.
Spanx actually makes a really nice blazer that you could like travel in and wear with yoga pants. And so does Commando. They're like the neoprene.
Do you have your butt covered when you're wearing a blazer?
With yoga pants?
In general. If I were going to go out and get the Spanx blazer that I was going to wear as part of my new capsule wardrobe that I'm building, it's not up to my waistline. It's past it. How far down before you look like you're wearing your dad's suit jacket?
I think that matters more about like what bottoms you're going to pair it with. If you're going to do like a wide leg trouser or something that's like high waisted and cinched at the waist, like, yeah, I don't think I want you to have like the super, super long one. I would maybe want something that's a little bit more cropped. But if you are wearing something like, you know, just like a good straight leg jean, I don't think there's any reason why you can't wear a little bit longer line blazer. Okay. Just promise me that you'll wear it with like a slightly more fitted tank, or like, you know, you'll tuck in your shirt or do a little half tuck or something just to give some relief to like the drapiness of it.
You guys watch out. By the end of 2023, I'm going to wear a blazer.
Ooh, I just thought of another good one. This is more of an investment, but the Veronica Beard scuba blazer is also a really good example of that.
No shoulder pads in the blazer. Take those out, Sam.
Hell no. I got built-in shoulder pads, Booth.
And you can't have shoulder pads removed. That's another like tailoring trick that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, I feel like Hillary probably rocks the shoulder pads.
Or I think of Dorothy from Golden Girls. That's my favorite.
I mean, she is the
That's
biggest.
my favorite show. Oh my God, really? Yes. I've never met anybody who actually likes that show. They're like, how old are you? And
I own every single episode on DVD. And I have Sophia socks, and I have the Golden Girls board.
Okay, I was going to say earlier when you were talking about Grandpa in Palm Springs with your dressed up pajamas that it's like, very Golden Girls, but I didn't want to offend you.
Giving Dorothy, no, that's like the highest compliment.
Oh my God, I would have said it 40 minutes ago.
All right, now that we're talking Golden Girls, I'll officially declare this podcast over.
You're like, and I'm leaving.
Anyways, I thought it was a compliment as well.
I love it. Have you watched Golden Girls?
I have. I think I've seen it on TV with my mom, like when I was a kid, but yeah. I haven't watched it since.
I had a Golden Girls themed birthday party.
Okay, that's amazing and perfect in every single way.
There we go. Well, there you have it. We've got our fall fashion, how to and not look like Hillary Clinton. We appreciate
really
everything.
Got to the hard-hitting stuff.
Yeah.
I still have more questions. I mean, we could be here forever.
We could.
Well, maybe I could come back.
Yeah.
And I'll bring you a different flavor of
We'll
cookie.
do a special every season.
There you go.
Yes. Where can everybody find you?
Let's see. There's a website, carsonlove.com. Instagram is Carson M Love. What else?
Carson Love's a fantastic name, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I can't take credit for it. It was my mom and dad's doing, but thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. We'll see you soon. If you have any more fashion tips, don't DM me. DM Carson.
Definitely go straight to Shawn.
Team on 3.